Hi, guys. Welcome to this episode of Tisha Talks. We are joined by the lovely Miss LaToya Pearson, who is going to be talking to us today about self-love, about embracing self-love. For this month, which is, I don't know when you're viewing this video, but right now in live time, it is March, and we are celebrating Women's History Month, appreciating women, appreciating all the things that we have overcome, that we have triumphed, that we are moving forward in and are conquering as females, right? So today, Toya is going to be talking with us and sharing her story about overcoming the inability to love self. And I think that that's a challenge that a lot of us can relate to. And so I'm excited about this conversation. I'm excited to have Toya on. Welcome, Toya.
Thank you for having me. I'm doing my little dance.
I'm
Thank you for
glad.
having me.
This is going to be such an interesting conversation. And I think a lot of times people are not always as transparent about the areas in which they may have struggled in. But I think it's awesome when people are willing to share their stories and to allow others to grow from their experiences. So I
Yes.
thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me. I think this is our second, right?
Yeah,
One we did live when you started Tisha Talks. I think like was it 2 years ago we did our first video together?
I know. Have I grown? Have I grown from this?
You have grown. I'm so proud of you. I'm proud of just stepping out there, stepping into your purpose and really doing what God has called you to do. So it's great. As women, we need a community. We need to encourage each other. We need to be there for each other. And it's great to kind of have somebody just that that's like pushing the forefront and just tackling and talking about issues that we need to hear and issues that we need to work on and how to go forward as women.
Well, I thank you. I have definitely a good circle of women such as yourself surrounding me and supporting me and just being willing to like share and be a part of each other's growth. And so I think that that is awesome. So let's dive into today's topic, overcoming self-love. So when I asked you if you would, be a guest on the show and talk about something that you had overcome, you responded back to me with the topic of self-love. And so tell me more about that, what that journey has been like for you, or even describing what self-love is to you.
Yeah. So self-love, I wanted to talk about self-love because it's something personally that I've been working on right now. And when you sent me that text, I don't know, right away, I was just like, self-love, like it has to be about self-love. So self-love to me, and I just want to say I'm not an expert. I'm just Tisha's friend on this show. My husband always says on his podcast, like, there's no perfect people. You always have to give a disclaimer because I feel like we live in a society now where people just put things out there
Right.
and everybody wants to be an expert and everybody wants to make it look perfect. So I just want to say, like, I'm struggling with this area. This is something that I'm working on right now. So I'm just here to share things that I'm working on for myself and for my little girls as being a mother of two girls. So recently, self-love has just been, it's been on my mind. I've been reading books about it. I've been talking about it with with some of my other girlfriends. How even as women now in our 30s and in our 40s, like we still have to struggle with self-love. Like we are still not loving ourselves the way God loves us and the way that He's shown us how to love. And I started realizing, like, if I don't love myself the way God has called me to love, like how am I gonna love my husband? How am I loving my kids? How am I loving my friends if I'm not really loving myself? So this is when I started kind of diving into what are some ways that I can love myself. So this is how I got to this topic of self-love.
So interesting. So something that you said that I thought was so key is like, if we don't love ourselves, how are we loving other people? And I
Yeah.
think that we don't really think about it that way, but it shows up, or would you agree that it shows up in our other relationships? Like we find ourselves having challenges and we're thinking that it's the other person when really it's a challenge that we have within ourselves.
Yeah. Definitely, I agree. And I think it's the I realized for myself it's the story that I'm telling myself. I was listening to a podcast recently, Patrice Washington podcast. I know we're all a
Yeah.
fan. We're all a fan of Seek, what is it? PC seekpcwisdom.com. She has a podcast on Patrice Washington, and she just had a guest on, and he was talking about change your mindset will change your life. And it was just so key for me because I really had to sit down and examine the story that I was telling myself. Um, and it has other things to do too with like growing up and things that people told me and things that my family told me and kind of the story that I created in my head. But now as I'm older, I'm realizing it's the story that I'm telling myself too. Like, why am I not loving myself in these areas? Like, why is it that when I look in the mirror, I'm like, oh, I don't like my hair, or my hair needs to be changed, or my hair is too long. Like, who has an issue with their hair being too long? Like I had issues, yeah, issues with my voice, and I felt like I wasn't assertive enough, and my voice was too soft, and just issues with like my body. Like, why wasn't I caring for my body? Like, why wasn't I taking care of this vessel that God's given to me? Like, why am I not eating healthier? Like, why am I not working out? Like, why am I not doing the things that I need to do to love on myself? So it's just some things that I guess as women we all need to work on.
What were some of the things that you realized as you were, I guess, challenging yourself to go deeper? Did you realize that? I know you were saying that a lot of some of the concepts or ideas that you had about yourself were from childhood or things that you were told. What were other things that you discovered as to did you figure out why you didn't like your hair being too long, or did you figure out why you weren't eating healthy? Did you figure out like the source of maybe where those things were coming from?
I think kind of somewhat. I think I'm figuring it out along as I go. But I've realized that it was a combination of just things that I was told in my childhood. And it's a combination of just wanting to be perfect. Like, I always had this idea in my head that I had to look a certain way, or I had to be a certain way, and I had to be this kind of mom, and be this kind of nurse, and be this person that just like exuded perfection, when God loves us in our imperfection. So there were so many things that I thought that I needed to be. It was just something I was telling myself, like, I need to look this way, and I need to be this way for people to kind of love me back.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Because we'll never measure up to those expectations because they're not,
Yeah.
we weren't created to do those things to begin with.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I think
So
about,
yeah.
I know that you're a fan of Rachel Hollis, me too.
Yes.
And I'm sure you probably read her book, but I think about the book that she wrote called Girl Wash Your Face,
Yes.
and just like really demystifying all of these expectations that we place on ourselves that
Yeah.
are like man made.
Yeah. Yeah. It's things, as images that we've seen, it's magazines. Like right now, I have a parent magazine that I'm reading, and it's just like all the moms are all made up, and everybody has cute hair and all the things that they do. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like Aisha Curry's on the cover, and I'm like reading through everything. Like, oh, she does this for dinner, and oh, maybe I should add that to my dinner routine. And she does this with her hair, and oh, that's a cute hairstyle. Like maybe I need to cut my hair. Like just the things that we do. But yeah, getting back to Rachel Hollis, like I love her, and I love, that's one of the books that I feel like somebody's really struggling with self-love. If they read that book, I feel like that's a starting point to getting you to that next level, to really taking time to examine areas that you're not loving yourself and why you're not loving yourself in that area. Like, is it stories that you were told when you were younger? Is it a story that you're telling yourself? And just that same thing, changing your mindset, changing your life. I think it's a real good book. And shout out to her because she has a new book coming out today, right?
Yeah.
Girl, Stop
I
Apologizing.
oh
So
what?
that's, yes. So I think that's also an interesting topic. All the things that we apologize for and areas
Mhm.
that we don't reach for because we're too busy apologizing when we don't need to. We just need to go out there and be fearless women that God has called us to be.
I know. I
Yeah.
know. So tell me, what things are you now doing um, that is helping you embrace self love more?
Um, So my days off, like before, my days off will be filled with just laundry and cooking and cleaning and all this stuff. And now I make sure that I'm taking time out for myself to just do activities that I love, really doing self-care activities. I love to write. I love to journal. I'm writing poetry now. I don't know. That's a new area for me, but
Yay.
just writing poetry, expressing myself. The weather is kind of cold now, so when the weather gets nicer, I love biking. I found some bike trails around now that we moved to PA, so I'm excited about that. Walking, going out in nature, being by the waterfalls, anything water related. I'm like, yes, I'm there. But just doing things and activities that fill me up, that make me happy. Like my day as a mom and a wife doesn't have to be revolved around just doing chores and making sure. I mean, I still have to do those things, but really taking time to kind of assess my feelings, kind of assess how I'm doing, how I'm feeling for that day, and really using the time to fill it with things that make me happy, that fill me and create this, I don't know, this feeling, this good feeling as a person and as a woman.
I think that that is so awesome. I think a lot of us wear so many different hats and we're doing so many
Yeah.
different things and we kind of forget like who we are or what we love to do, what we like to do and what makes us unique, and we get so engulfed in like serving everyone else
Yeah.
that we don't serve ourselves.
Right.
So
Yeah,
what are you
I
doing? Are
agree.
you doing anything health wise?
So in January, I decided that I needed to lose 12 pounds or more.
I don't know why.
Um, I had the health talk. I had a checkup, and my doctor's like, "Okay, so we have to have this weight talk," and I'm like, "No, not the weight talk." But I've been I guess on the thinner side for most of my life, and then after having three babies, oh my gosh, my first pregnancy, I gained over almost close to 90 pounds. I don't know. Well,
Wow.
I do know. I was gonna say I don't know how I did that, but I'm gonna be honest. I know how I did that. All them Italian cheeseburgers. Oh my gosh, Italian cheeseburgers were like my thing. My mother-in-law would be like, "Oh, you want to have an Italian cheeseburger?" I'm like, "Yeah, why not?" So just I gained over 90 pounds with my first pregnancy, and then with other pregnancies, I lost a lot of that weight after, but just other pregnancies, I also gained weight, lost again, gained. So it's been like an up and down thing, but just feeling comfortable, just having energy. I felt like I was lacking energy. I wasn't as energized as I usually was. So I kind of just in December, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna lose this weight. I want to have more energy. I want to be able to do more activities. Like especially in the summertime, I like to just get up and go. And now that we're living in this new place, I'm like, I just need to explore everything. My husband's like, you better be careful because you're gonna end up dead in a ditch somewhere. But I'm like, yeah, oh, a field over there. All right, let's go explore and see what's in there. But I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But yeah, so I just needed to not just to lose weight, but to just have the energy. So in December I decided like, okay, I'm gonna cut out. I started with the Daniel fast. I'm like, I'm gonna cut out meat, I'm gonna cut out sugars, I'm gonna cut out sodas, I'm cutting out everything. Like I just went cold turkey. I'm like, I kind of have to, when I decide that I want to do something, I kind of have to just go full force into it. It can't be like I'm gonna have a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I need to go just none of this. I'm not having either this or this. Like no, like in between. So I did meet my weight goal, and I lost the 12 pounds, and I'm working out now
Wow,
to continue.
congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. So yeah, I'm fitting some clothes that I wasn't fitting before. Yeah, so yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited about just doing activities that I can love on myself with.
So I know you mentioned that you have three kids, and two of which are girls.
Yes.
So how, as a mom, how has that really shaped your perspective on self love and and as far as your kids are concerned, and as far as what you emulate to them?
Yeah. So it's changed a lot. Actually, my daughter Layla is 9 now and Sydney's 7, and they're aware. They're aware of everything that's going on. They're aware, I've realized. That they're aware of the story that I'm telling to myself, and the story that I'm saying out loud. It's things that they're picking up on. And the other day, like Layla said to me, like, I'm always like, oh, I need to lose weight, my belly, like it's my belly's too fat, like I need to lose some weight around, the belly area. And she was like, so the other day she had her shirt rolled up. She had on this like little tank top, and she has it rolled up, and she comes, she's like, Mom, I was thinking, I was looking in the mirror, and I think my belly's too fat. And she was like, I think I need to lose weight. I know you're always talking about your belly. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, she's picking up, like she's hearing the things that I'm seeing. So I have to make sure that, this is my legacy. Like, I want my girls to grow up to be strong women. So I have to make sure that I'm reinforcing, and that not just the things that I say, but my actions too. I have to make sure that I'm speaking well. So in the morning we have like these affirmations that we say, and I post it. I'm like, there's post-it notes all over my bathroom mirror. Like, I am strong. Like, I am loved. Like, I am beautiful. I'm resilient. I am fearless. Like, there's things that they need to learn to start speaking to themselves too, to love themselves. So I have to be very mindful of my words when I'm saying to myself, when I'm saying around them. So it's interesting being the mother of two girls, because they challenge you. They challenge you in areas, and you sometimes you don't realize. Like, you hear them saying things, and then you're like, oh gosh. Like, my husband's like, oh yeah, she definitely got that from you. Like, they'll repeat things that you say to yourself, and you're like, when you hear them saying it, you're like, well, why am I saying that to myself?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's interesting.
Definitely, your gifts to you to help you realize
Yeah,
why am I not loving myself in that way?
yeah,
You
yeah,
know?
definitely.
Oh, oh, my Layla and my Sydney. Tell her her belly
Oh.
is fine.
Right. I'm like, your belly is fine. You do not need to lose weight. You're beautiful just the way you are. But that's not something that I stand up in the mirror and tell myself. So it was a good realization that, be mindful of the words that you speak to yourself and around your kids.
What do you think? Was there like one aha moment for you to where you came to the place where you said, this is me. I'm going to love me and accept me for who I am because I'm unique in my creation and who I was created to be. Was there one like aha moment that was like, okay, enough is enough, or was it the incident with the girls?
I think it's a combo of things. I think it was that with my girls, and especially with, well, Sydney's still, she's 7, so she's still like trying to figure things out. But especially with Layla, like she's at that age now where she's like trying to have her hair a certain way and wear certain clothes, and she's starting to like, she gets so much of her like mannerisms and the things that she say from me. So I think with her, it makes me really realize and really be conscious of what I'm seeing and what I'm doing. But I think also my pastor's wife gave me this letter, and it was called a love letter from God. And it just talked about like all of the things, like the way God loves us. Like he loves us just the way we are. He's filled us with these gifts. He's given us these purposes in life. Like, it's just this amazing letter. I hope I still have it, because I wish I can just like share it. At one point I was like getting copies and just like sharing it to my coworkers and my friends, like, oh my gosh, you need to read this. This is such an amazing letter. So it's called Love Letter. And I don't know who wrote it. I can't remember. I'm gonna find out from her and get a copy to you. But it was just so amazing, and such a good reminder of God's love for us. Like every time I lose my way and I'm like, oh, I don't feel this way. I don't feel my best. I don't like this. I don't like how I look in this way. I'm always reminding myself of the way God sees me. And that's the way I need to see myself. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. So, how has you embarking on loving yourself more and accepting yourself? Um, how has that like changed your life? How has that made you better?
I think it's made me better in so many ways. Like now I'm just like I love me. This is me. This is who I am. Like take it or leave it. like I mean, there's the point where I can like now I can like stand in the mirror and just be like this is my body, like this is the way my abdomen looks, my stomach looks. Like I've carried 3 babies, 3 full-term pregnancies. Like it's okay if I got a stretch mark or 2 right here. Like this is what happens after you've had 3 babies. Like it's
Mhm.
okay if my booty looks this way in a dress. Like it's just things that I had to just process through. Like it's okay. Like it's okay. This is me. Love my hair. Like love my skin. Love my face, love my voice. Like I struggled for so long with my voice. Like it was just like, I don't know. I would just be like, oh, I hate the way I sound. Like I hate my voice. Like it's so soft. I feel like it needs to be assertive. Like it's not assertive enough. Like I would be quiet around certain people in certain places. And now I'm just like this is it. This is my voice. Like I've had so many, I don't know why it was such a issue for me. Like with my voice, but I've had so many issues now, like so many patients I've taken care of, like so many places that I've been to that people have come up to me and said something about my voice or just the way you said that, or just the way you prayed, or like I felt it in your voice. And I had an instance where I was able to, I don't like to share this too much because it just take me back, but it reminded me of this lady. I was like able to help her to not commit suicide. Like she was thinking about taking her life, but the fact that she was like, your voice, like the way you were calm, the way you talked to me, the way you sat with me, the way you prayed with me, like the way you cried with me, like there's like God has given me this voice, like the way it sounds soft, however loud when it wants to be. Like God has given me this tool to use. Like this is me. Like He's blessed me with this. So I had to come to a realization, and I even forgot the original question because I'm talking all over the place. But like just yeah, just loving, just loving the way you are, and getting to that place.
You definitely, it's so interesting that you would say that because, I think a part of self love is also identifying some of your giftings, what sets you apart. And I tell you, I can attest, I could call you all upset about something and you'll start talking. I'll be like, oh, it's not that bad. I'm like, well,
Okay.
maybe she's right, because you do have that soothing, and I think, and that so plays into your profession of nursing as well. Just that ability to care for people and to be like a comfort unto them, and so that's interesting that you would say that. But when you were talking, I think, and the question was how has you embracing self love bettered yourself, and um, how does it, make you feel better as a person or as an individual? But one of the things that I was getting from what you were saying is like, you've become so unapologetic for who you are. And I
Yeah.
think like when I was approaching 40, I definitely was like in that space. Like I cannot like be the LaTisha that other people want me to be, or the LaTisha that in my mind I think that I'm supposed to be. I can only be who I've been created to be. And love that piece about me and what I bring unapologetically.
Yeah.
And would you say that sums up like what it has done for you?
Definitely. I feel like I'm just, I don't know, like this new woman and I'm proud. I'm proud of it because I'm proud of the time and the work and the effort that I've put into just I don't know, I feel like after being married for so long, I got married really young, so I still had to kind of figure out who I was as a person. We got married at 21, so figure out who I was as this young woman and coming into a relationship with somebody else. And then becoming a mom. Well, I got married. I was 20, turning 21, and then I had Jordan when I was 21 too. I was 21, turning 22. So it's just like everything happened so early in my life. I feel like I lost myself. Like I was so into being a wife and being this mom and trying to live up to this perfection for my mom and for other people around me that I kind of lost myself. I lost my sense of self, and I lost my sense of self-love, or why are the reasons why like I'm doing all these things and being all these things. And once I figured out, like, okay, I need to take time to like invest into the things that made me happy and loving myself and loving who God has called me to be, like, it just helped me to be a different woman. Like, now I can love even more. I can love my husband even more. I can love my friends more. I can love my kids more. I can just be this better person to everybody else because I know like the source, like I'm loving myself and I'm feeling comfortable in what God has gifted me with.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That I think kind of summed it up really well for what what the ability to embrace self love does for you as an individual. And we're gonna get ready before we end. I do have a question for you. Um, what advice would you give anyone who's struggling with loving themselves? Like, what advice or what tips or what words of encouragement would you want to offer them?
First, I would say really just taking time, like really just taking inventory. I think sometimes we have so many roles and so many hats to fill as women. Just taking time to really just think about, what are the areas that you need to work on? Like, what are the areas like first, I guess first thing it will be like just figuring out like your story. Like, what is it that you're telling yourself? Because I really go back to that change your mindset, change your life thing. Like, what is it that you're telling yourself? And why is it that you don't love yourself in certain areas? Or why is it that you're not taking time just to care for yourself. I feel like we get so wrapped up in caring for our husbands and caring for our kids, and then we have a job. I've had so many jobs. At one time, I was working like 3 jobs. I was gonna say I was working harder than a Jamaican, but I don't know if I could say that on your show. But I'm Caribbean, so maybe I get a pass for saying that. But I was so busy, like working and trying to climb the ladder. Like one year, in my last job, I got promoted 3 times in a year. Like I was just like, just gotta go get it, gotta be this, gotta do this, gotta accomplish this, gotta get this degree, gotta get a second degree, like gotta get these certifications. Like I wasn't even giving myself time and space to quiet my mind and to process and be like, okay, like I need to take time out. This 1 hour, 2 hours, whatever it is. Like I need to do things and do activities. Like I need to work out. I need to eat healthy. Like I need to do things that are going to fill me as a person. So just taking that time to self-assess and to see where you should even start, where areas you need to work on, what things you need to do, and just reminding yourself. I had to remind myself, like, these are things that I love. Like I love writing ever since I was a little girl, but for some reason, like, I never took the time out or just give myself that time and that space to get in that creative space to write, because it's so therapeutic for me. So just giving yourself time to self-assess, and then also taking time to do some self-care activities for yourself.
Definitely. Great advice. Great advice. So before we go, I'm definitely going to reach back out to you when after we read Girl Stop Apologizing. Is
Oh
that what
yes, we need a book club.
I know.
We need to start a book club.
Well, you're the new writer, right?
Yes, we need a book club, but we need some friends that read.
We'll get some
Oh
people, but
my
I
gosh.
definitely want to talk about that too, because I think that
Yes.
is something like we apologize for so many things that if we were living an unapologetic life, we wouldn't have to. And I think that it really starts with that self-love piece that we've been
Mhm.
talking about. So I'm excited for that book to come out and to get to read that and discuss that as well. But I wanted to really thank you for being on the show today and sharing your story. Um,
Yeah.
my hope, and I guess I can say for both of us, our hope is that you sharing your experiences will encourage and inspire and uplift someone who may be being challenged in that particular area. And so I thank you for being a
Yeah.
part of this conversation with me.
Thank you for having me. I hope I didn't talk too much.
No, it was good.
But thank you. I think it's an important conversation. It's a conversation that I have with myself. It's a conversation I have with my girls, and I hope that people would, have that same conversations with themselves and other people, other women around them too that need to hear it.
And we'll be awaiting your, what did you say you were working on?
Poetry. Who knew that I like to write poetry? Yes, poetry. I was writing some Black history poetry. My husband was like, "Oh Lord, I'm about to start a revolution." Yeah.
So we'll be
So,
awaiting some of the stuff that's birthed out of your new ability to love yourself and to love the giftings that you've been created with, and
yes.
deciding to walk in purpose. Not that we weren't purposeful before, but just being more intentional about the specific things that God has called us to do.
Yes, definitely. Definitely.
So, guys, as always, I always close with this saying: when passion meets purpose, great things happen. Thank you for tuning in, and we will talk to you next time.